So let's go right into, kind of my philosophy, because everything that I do from this point forward, from a preparedness standpoint and a survival standpoint as well, kind of counts on, an understanding of where I'm coming from, what my baseline is for survivalism and preparedness. So, to me, survivalism and preparedness, that's being a prepper is just being prepared to, do a long-term application of survival skills over an extended period of time, indefinite period of time, with an uncertain future. So that's kind of how I define it, there's probably other definitions, but that's the way I see it. It's a long-term application of survival skills. So the priorities of survival for me, you have your immediate metabolic needs, which is your fire, shelter, water, and food. You also have your first aid, navigation, and signal. Those are all preventatives. And I think you guys have probably heard me talk about this before, but if I get injured and I can take care of that injury, I've prevented a survival situation because I can keep moving. If I don't ever get lost and I can walk my way out to safety, I've prevented that survival situation. And signal. If for some reason I can't do either of these and I can signal for rescue and get pulled out of there pretty quickly, that's another thing that prevents a catastrophe. So those are preventatives, and then preventative priorities, and then supplemental priorities for me are, tools, maintenance, and repair. Tools are things that allow me to provide for these, immediate needs and these preventative needs. And of course, having tools, especially when, you go from like a survival thing to maybe a bug out to a bug in, or, even with something as, a long-term wilderness living kind of thing, you need to be able to maintain your tools, and you need to be able to repair your tools and repair your gear that provide for all these. So those are supplemental priorities. And then, of course, that's just kind of your survival needs. And then when you look at it from through the lens of a prepper standpoint, you're talking about something that could be longer term. Like we said, it's an uncertain environment for an indefinite amount of time. You don't know, it's not a 72-hour thing. It could be the rest of your life. So some things are adjusted a little bit, like fire. Fire is definitely an immediate need, especially if you're about to be hypothermic. However, you have permissive and non-permissive situations going on. If you're in an area that's non-permissive, that you're trying to lay low and be stealthy, because of whatever the event was that caused, the situation you're in, then you need to really weigh the needs of having a fire versus the risk that it's going to be, for you getting caught. So that changes a little bit. You're going to rely, if you can't have a fire, you're going to rely more on your shelter, for body warmth and maintaining your body heat. And then signal, a lot of times, signal is kind of survival specific. And when you get into like a bug out scenario, signal becomes less a way of signaling rescuers and more of a way of, signaling / communicating with other folks in your group. That's kind of the change there and why there's an asterisk there. And then of course, in a non-permissive environment, in a post, crap hits the fan kind of situation, security and community become, different priorities that are not available when you're just doing basic survival. So these are kind of additional priorities that you need to think about. Security is an ongoing thing. You've got to be able to maintain, you have to be able to protect the gear you have to be able to protect yourself, you have to be able to protect your group while you're providing for all these needs as well. So security is an ongoing thing, and then community is an ongoing thing. You may not be the best at every one of these, but somebody in your group may be great at navigation, somebody in your group may be great at building shelters. You may have people in your community that are specifically there because of their skills at being able to repair things, being able to make things. You know, you don't have the stores anymore. Amazon's out of business, so nobody can do it alone. So realizing the need to build community to help provide for all these needs becomes extremely important in this type of scenario.